is still present, she flies to the marker and performs a quick...
She's Naruto's dad. She's Minato. She's Minato from Naruto.
He chooses to use one precisely to overcome
I like him already. I respect that. He said, oh, I'm trash with a bow. That's my main now. Until I'm good at it. What's up, you guys? It's time for me to react to the Genshin Impact Collected Miscellany trailer. Or trailers. So, apparently, watching through these is going to help me understand the different characters' abilities. And kind of allow me to figure out the game more. But we're going to watch this and we're going to figure out which characters I'm going to pull for in the future. Also, of course, as per usual, I'm here with my rapscallions over on Twitch for reacting to this live. So if you would like to catch this live with us and, you know, be here for it all, come over to my Twitch channel. Before we start the video, I want to give a huge shout out to Dalun Shen, T. Hines, and Fairy Tales. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you want to shout out at the start of the video, make sure to subscribe. You may see yourself there. You never know. All right, first trailer is Venti. I remember that Venti could fly and is basically a god. So this is going to be interesting.
A mysterious bard named Venti has recently appeared in the world, singing tales for the city of freedom and romance.
Interesting.
This city is Mondstadt, the crown of the north. A free nation with no...
This is Diluc, right?
This once bitter cold land in the north of Teyvat is now fertile.
That's interesting. We're going to get a lot of more story and general things. I thought it was mainly going to be their abilities.
Since the god of Animo left this land.
So we're getting some backstory.
To me, it has only been half that time.
Come on, traveler, let's go. The world
All right, let's see what you got.
Animo.
So what do the constellations mean? Carmen Day?
With the power of Animo, Venti can battle with ease in almost any environment. His versatile attack style and his ability to launch enemies with his
an arrow. Very cool.
Allow for a high amount of mobility.
Oh, that's dope. So essentially, you can shoot them up into the air, and because they can't move, you can just shoot at them.
Making him a strategic character who can both deal damage and control the battle.
That's very cool. He is very much a control character in terms of stopping the characters to go in certain places.
For all characters. Needless to say, this skill will come in handy on your adventures.
Wait. I didn't realize they all had like background skills.
Normal attacks can perform up to 6 consecutive shots.
Okay, so he has 6 shots. That's pretty cool.
Fourth shots can fire an extra arrow.
Do you have to hold the button in longer or something?
Greater damage.
How do you do the extra arrow?
Hold the attack button to use a more powerful aimed shot.
That feels kind of similar to what I remember from Amber when it comes to the aiming.
And deals even more damage to the enemy.
Is it wrong to call Venti kind of like an anime version of Amber?
Hymns and songs fly to lift your enemies up into the sky.
You look like an anime villain with that smile for a sec.
Venti summons a wind domain at the enemy's location.
That's the thing that pushes them up. That's such a cool attack.
Fall slowly to the ground.
Okay, it's wrong. Okay, so he's not like Animo Amber at all.
Domain around Venti, dealing greater area of effect damage and launching enemies into the air. Venti
I love that he can fly.
uses powerful wind to fly high into the air.
It's only temporary then, so it's not actually long.
Allows you to attack.
Oh, you can dodge through that.
but
That's
also
clever.
dodge attacks and move around the environment. If the opportunity presents itself, you can also use a plunging attack from above.
That's cool.
Wind domains
So you can attack from above.
help you get around.
Do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Rivali's Gale, actually, from Breath of the Wild.
Holding Skyward Sonnet will also create a temporary upcurrent as you fly into the air.
Yeah, it's very similar to Rivali's Gale.
Firing an arrow infused with coalesced winds, Venti creates a fierce storm.
Yeah, that looked like it was...
surrounding enemies.
Like it did explosive damage. Right? Oh, maybe it didn't. I thought I saw like some explosion in the trailer.
Causes the storm to absorb.
Oh!
And deal
Oh,
additional
that's why, because it's absorbing the element of the enemies, and that's why it did an explosive, because that was a pyro enemy.
After unlocking the Talit Storm Eye, Venti's energy will be replenished at the end of Wind's Grand Ode.
Oh, there's Amber.
If an element was absorbed, the energy of
So
part
Rivali gets compared to Venti a lot then. That's interesting.
even though Venti is more than capable of handling different obstacles in battle, Strategic party selection and teamwork can help you maximize Venti's abilities.
That was cool. Like, I love their little animations.
First, use divine archery to attack enemies from afar.
Right.
And whittle away at their health. Use Skyward Sonnet to launch dangerous enemies into the air.
Yo, it's so cool that the devs have really thought of specific combos.
When your energy is full, unleash your elemental burst.
Okay.
Wind's Grand Ode sucks the enemies in and deals animo damage.
Yo, this actually looks ridiculously strong.
Storm to generate a swirl reaction.
Oh, so you can just send out a character afterwards after he uses that to affect the... That's so cool.
Causing another elemental reaction brings the battle to a swift end.
Damn. Yeah, he's making a smoothie with his ult. I see that actually.
Flow like the wind. Venti captures this spirit in his ballads. Flora and fauna he sings of seem to have a life of their own and transport us to the moon and the stars.
Mondstadt can actually look pretty beautiful.
Self-proclaimed best bard of the mortal world gets his strength.
Could not catch me up there.
Withering inspiration from the wind.
So is that dragon, that creature, related to Venti in some way? Yeah, because I remember it from the myth story.
For his ballads.
Or the myth.
Rather, he'd be happy with a cup of wine and a lyre to sing the marvelous stories of the world.
What pretty dragon.
That would make Venti the Bard very content indeed.
Interesting. Okay, I'm excited to see the rest of these because there's quite a lot of explanation, but like, it's not just the moves. I'm also learning a little bit more about the characters. All right, so this next one is Diluc, who I've heard is like, you know, he's a husbando. Everyone loves him.
Diluc dominates
yes, he owns the winery. That's correct. I remember now.
And information are at his fingertips.
Oh, so he's like an information merchant too?
Modest and refined, yet quick to act whenever Mondstadt faces a crisis. What caused him to choose?
Actually, I remember seeing him already in the game.
How very curious.
There must be those who dare to pierce the darkness with their light.
Yep, he's a pyro user. I mean, that was obvious by design.
As one who wields pyro and a claymore, Diluc has...
All right, so his vision's dangling by his belt. Wait, what the hell? That was a cool ability. Not even his, but the enemies.
With his powerful skills, Diluc
jeez. Yo, a phoenix. That's epic.
and crushes all his foes with fearsome, ruthless strikes. Born a noble, Diluc is well versed in all things.
Is he a part of one of the families that Eula doesn't like?
No metal ore is
By chance, if he's a noble?
When forging claymores, Diluc recovers a set percentage of the ores used.
So that's his passive ability. Okay.
Diluc's normal attack performs
That's very
4
interesting.
consecutive strikes.
So is forging actually important when it comes to Genshin
Attack
Impact?
button constantly consumes Diluc's stamina to launch swift consecutive attacks.
Damn.
Dealing increased physical damage to nearby enemies, and unleashing an extra powerful attack at the end that launches enemies. Use this wisely.
He is just a hard hitter.
And defeat shielded foes. Unlocking the talent Relentless decreases Diluc's charged attack stamina consumption.
Right. So is this a constellation thing where you can constantly unlock abilities like any other RPG or JRPG, right?
Using the elemental skill Searing Onslaught, Diluc strikes with his claymore, dealing power.
Who called this man Batman?
This can be done 3 times in a row, with a short window of time to connect each strike.
Damn, that thing's about to get bodied.
This skill enters cooldown if the next strike is not activated in a short
I
period of
see. So you gotta be quick about it.
Searing Onslaught in concert with normal attacks allows you to deal constant damage to enemies,
Oh, that's clever.
while remaining evasive and mobile.
See, this is a game you actually really have to think about when using their abilities.
Diluc can form combinations with other characters, using elemental reactions to deal greater damage.
Your verdict is?
That's the Phoenix, right? There we go.
Surrounding himself
Epic.
in flames, Diluc knocks nearby enemies back, before gathering the flames into his blade and launching a phoenix,
So
dealing massive pyro damage to enemies in its path.
it launches them back and does damage. That just seems quite strong.
Also deal pyro damage for a period of time. Dawn has a very large hitbox.
Oh, wait.
Allowing it to not only strike airborne foes,
So he can actually create environmental damage.
to an extent, making it very strong against groups. The pyro damage conversion that Dawn provides further strengthens Diluc's attacks.
Okay.
Unlocking the Blessing of Phoenix talent increases the duration of Dawn's pyro damage conversion.
I see.
Gives Diluc a pyro damage bonus.
Yo, he looks so strong. Like, he was moving quicker than I expected him to with that claymore.
Warrior, who efficiently deals with any task. Now, please witness him in action. He begins suppressing the target with normal attacks,
Okay.
combining it with his elemental skill to deal great pyro damage to the enemy. He weaves between these two attack modes to
So, normal attacks along with the actual elemental skills he owns.
He uses his elemental burst once his energy is full, followed by attacks enhanced by Blessing of Phoenix.
That's clever. Okay, that makes sense.
Flawless.
Man, this is going to be a lot to learn. Like, they all have very different playstyles, it feels.
And his aloof manner are all admirable traits. But if the disaster from 5 centuries ago were to happen again, if he were to face the same evil that I once did, would he still hold fast?
Who actually is the narrator? Is it the same guy from the... Is it the Trevat trailer?
Makes me most curious indeed.
Dying Sleep. Okay, yeah. That is the same guy from that trailer. I like how, like, along with these, they're also putting little lore tidbits in. Okay, so Klee is adorable, so I'm excited about this. She's kind of like, she reminds me of Kana from Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, where she's just, like, overpowered, but so small and cute, you know? So we'll see how exactly I'm supposed to use her. Everyone's saying she's scary, too, so...
There are many remarkable people in Mondstadt's Knights of Favonius.
There's Lisa. Amber. Was that Jean previously?
A small knight who raised Stormbearer Mountains flat,
Look at her running.
and whose name has recently
But she looks,
become
like,
commonplace
way taller then.
in Mondstadt and beyond.
I thought she was there.
When it comes to Spark Knight Klee,
Spark Knight?
rumors aplenty. Interestingly, those telling these rumors do so with a smirk and a shake of their heads,
Bless her.
joking that even
Mischievous little
Mondstadt
kid.
fish have learned to swim away when they see her.
Can I come play with you today? Please?
Alright, so she's another pyro.
Adventure.
Well known as the Spark Knight, Klee is able to deal continuous pyro damage with her childlike glee. And a
Childlike? She is a
pockets
child.
full of bombs. But watch
That's
out,
crazy. She'd just be
as
carrying
a
around
wounded
bombs,
her
though.
may be turned to ash in a fiery explosion.
How'd they make bombs look so cute?
Klee loves adventures and is adept at expeditions and gatherings.
Bless her.
Not only does she know the locations of Mondstadt's unique flora, she may also know
Is that going to be like one of her passive abilities? Like being able to find stuff in the wild easily? It's like an item finder?
of items unique to Mondstadt will appear on
That
your
makes
minimap.
sense.
When it comes to anything explosive, Klee simply can't control her enthusiasm.
That's scary. Now I know why chat was calling her scary.
Up to 3 consecutive explosive attacks that deal AoE pyro damage. Holding the attack button consumes
What
a
the
certain
hell?
amount of stamina, and after a short casting time,
Is Klee a
blasts
strong character? She seems like she could be strong.
When Klee is up high, her charged attack can reach enemies even farther.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Also, Klee's normal and charged attacks are especially effective against geo targets.
Is that normal for pyro users?
Enemies with geo shields.
I'm not sure what the strengths and weaknesses are.
After unlocking the talent Sparkling Burst, when Klee's charged attack lands a critical hit,
She's
some
hard to
energy is
play.
restored for all party members. Use Klee's elemental.
So she's like a complex character.
Jumpy Dumpty.
Jumpy Dumpty. I still love that.
3 times. Each bounce causing an explosion that deals AoE pyro damage. On the 3rd bounce, Jumpy Dumpty will burst into mines.
Okay, what do they do? So if they...
Of enemies, or after a short time.
That's ridiculous.
dealing AoE pyro
That's pretty cool.
Jumpy Dumpty will automatically recharge over time to up to 2.
Man, when I was playing this game, I was literally just hitting with the basic attacks, it feels like.
Groups of enemies.
Like, there's so much to consider.
After Jumpy Dumpty explodes, switch characters and pull enemies together to take advantage of the mines and deal a lot of damage.
I see. I wonder how that would work in combination with Venti's
Jumpy Dumpty
burst
and
attack.
normal attacks deal damage. Klee has a chance to obtain an explosive spark. When Klee has an explosive spark,
If she's attacked, will it explode?
her next charged attack will expend the spark instead.
Oh, that's cool. So you can do like double damage basically, because can you do it twice? Or I guess maybe not, and you just don't lose the stamina.
And Splash continuously attacks nearby enemies for the duration of the skill, dealing AoE pyro damage.
Man, that monster's
Splash
gone.
has high damage and attack rate. Empowering
The way she runs is so funny to me. It's just so innocent.
Klee is able
While she's
to
blowing everything up.
continuously dish out strong pyro attacks, earning her a role as the firepower of your party.
Okay, so she's like DPS then, I guess.
Klee's incredible destructive
If you could call it that. I could be wrong.
in battle. Klee can use her
You guys
elemental
correct me in
skill
chat.
and normal attacks to repeatedly activate the effect of the talent Pounding Surprise, and use charged attacks to suppress enemies.
She looks fun to play.
Energy is full. Unleash an elemental.
Oh, she is a main DPS. Okay, good to know.
To deal damage. After this, Klee can have fun causing explosions, spreading flames in every direction, and burning enemies to a crisp.
It's how she's a child and they're like, yeah, she burns enemies to a crisp.
Their home. They proudly call it the City of Wind, Dandelions, and Freedom. Perhaps it was Mondstadt's atmosphere of freedom that led the famous adventurer Alice to entrust
Alice?
her daughter Klee to the care of
Alice is
of Otis.
Klee's mom. Okay, I don't know who Alice is yet,
Freedom.
but I'll keep that in
Klee
mind.
has had a happy and unrestrained childhood, but all baby birds must leave the nest someday.
Aww.
Hopefully, our little Spark Knight will remain just as happy-go-lucky until that day comes,
The enemy's chasing her.
and keep smiling all the way.
Okay, Klee looks really fun to use. Damn, I kind of want her as my pyro user. Serious question though. Would you adopt Klee with how cute she is, knowing that she is a serial arsonist? Yes or no? Okay, so this one is Jean. I've heard that she's like a free character given out later in the game, so I guess I should pay attention because I'll probably get her.
When Grandmaster Varka of Mondstadt's Knights of Favonius left on an expedition, his role passed to Jean, the eldest daughter of House Gunhild.
Right, the enemy of Eula.
Acting Grandmaster.
Oh, she
makes
isn't
him a
free?
skilled
I was lied
swordsman
to.
through hard work, and works harder still for the sake of the Knights.
Look at Lisa. I love Lisa.
Self-sacrifice, after all, is the Dandelion Knight's path.
The Dandelion Knight. She really is Saber from Fate. I see the comparison.
Continue to fight.
Jean has excellent crowd control and support abilities, and can act in concert with others to suppress the enemy.
Yo, she looks very speedy.
Jean's elemental burst can instantly restore her health, and benefit
What?
her allies as well, making her the pillar of any team.
She can just restore her own health.
Jean is always concerned with helping others.
Okay, so her passive is cooking related.
Make extra helpings.
Oh, she can get extra random free food.
Perfectly. She has a chance to create 2 of them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
All the better to face the battles ahead.
That's gonna be handy, I
Perform
imagine.
Up to 5 consecutive normal attacks, dealing physical damage to enemies. Holding the attack button.
The Hilly Charles
increases
just
a
cracked
set
me
amount
up for
of
some
stamina
reason.
And unleashes a wind-infused thrust that deals high physical
Damn.
damage to enemies.
What? It kind of reminds me of
Allowing Jean to
Venti's attack previously, but just a weaker version.
give her teammates a chance to perform follow-up attacks more safely.
Yeah, it's similar. It's like a
Locking
similar
the
use
talent
case.
Wind Companion gives Jean's normal attacks a chance to heal all party members on hit. This healing scales with Jean's attack power.
That's cool.
Tapping her elemental skill
So Jean is like a
causes Jean
a
to gather
DPS
full
healer?
power
Like, what
on
even-
her sword,
I guess you would
and
consider her
unleashes small
support,
storm,
maybe.
launching enemies in the direction Jean is aiming, dealing anemo damage.
Jeez.
Holding Gale
She
Blade
can also be
constantly
DPS.
consumes
Yeah, I was gonna
Jean's
say,
stamina,
like, it seems as though she's quite like
pulling
versatile.
nearby enemies in front of her,
That's cool.
and allowing her to adjust the direction in
So
which she wishes to
when
launch them.
I could imagine that's so cool playing co-op, like someone using Jean, just like holding them all in one space.
Gale Blade is a very flexible ability.
She gonna put them in the water?
Use of the surrounding terrain will often
That's so
amplify
funny.
its effects.
Wind, hear me.
All right, so what does Dandelion
Calling
Breeze
upon the
do?
wind's protection,
She's like Lucio from Overwatch, how she boops them out.
knocking nearby
That's so funny.
enemies back and dealing anemo damage. The field also quickly heals nearby allies.
So
and
she
all
just,
party
it's
members.
almost like,
This healing
what is
scales
that
with
one
Jean's
Naruto Hyuga
The
attack?
dandelion field continuously
The
heals
rotation.
characters within it, infusing them with anemo, while dealing anemo damage to enemies.
Like, it kind of reminds me of that in a way.
Once the talent Let the Wind Lead is unlocked, using Dandelion Field will regenerate some additional elemental energy.
Like the way it pushed them out?
Jean can help her team take charge, aid in their attacks, and do great damage through skillful use of her abilities. A well-rounded fighter indeed.
That's such a cool pose though. Look at her. She's looking like Black Widow. Superhero landing.
And build elemental energy. Then use her charged attack to disrupt their movements, allowing...
This is happening so quickly. I don't know if my brain can process how quickly this person's moving. This is probably normal for like a standard Genshin player, but...
To repel enemies and regenerate your team's health before beginning the next round of attacks to finish the fight.
Yo, this is like the combos. It's almost like playing a card game in terms of how you have to think. I like it.
Varka's great responsibilities. Even I, who has seen countless people, must respect her desire to always defend Mondstadt. But unlike most who bear great burdens, this young
why did it show me Lisa just then?
As tenacious as ever. How was her will molded, and what sustains her edge such that it never wears down? If fate wills it, I will find the answer to these questions.
Okay, so another Animo user. Yeah, Jean seems pretty cool. It's called muscle memory. That's so true. Like, I guess it's no different to any other game where like someone who's a beginner looks at someone who's been playing for a while and they're like, how are you doing that? But you just learn on the go, right? Also, I don't know who lied to me about me getting Jean for free. I'm coming for you. All right, time for... I almost called her Keqing. It's time for Qiqi. Look how cute she is behind that desk. So she's like a Chinese zombie similar to Li Pai Long from Shaman King.
Committing things to memory. For Qiqi, perhaps this is a good thing. She can forget her past.
Oh, bless her.
Herb gatherer at Boo Boo Pharmacy.
She gathers herbs?
But those who underestimate her just for being a child do so at their peril.
I am Qiqi. I am a zombie.
She forgot what comes next.
Forgot what comes next.
Oh, bless her. Yo, her hair, like,
Her mastery over cryo,
swaying in the breeze looks really cool. I didn't expect her to be cryo, though.
Despite her size, she has the strength to protect others.
Although, I guess it makes sense as a zombie, like, her body's cold.
When gathering herbs, she always knows where to find them, because she always carries a notebook with her.
That's cute.
Has all their locations marked.
Okay, so her passive, she can just find herbs specifically.
With Qiqi on,
But they're always on the map, as opposed to, like, Klees, where they randomly appear.
Making it easier to gather certain resources.
That's cool.
Qiqi's normal attack can combo up to 5 slashes, dealing physical damage to enemies.
The way she's holding that sword, she looks like a little badass.
Button consumes a set amount of stamina, and releases a 2-slash flurry.
What is this
dealing
area,
physical
though?
damage.
Is this like in a dungeon?
Qiqi's elemental skill, Herald of Frost, deals cryo damage.
The way she's just walking past. Yo, what?
Herald of Frost moves with the character, dealing damage along the way.
Oh, so it passes on over to...
Also healing the current
to the other
character
people.
periodically.
That's so good.
While Herald of Frost is active,
So it's like Leech Seed in Pokemon, where like it continuously
the
heals
entire party
whoever is out on the field on your squad.
by a set amount based on Qiqi's attack power. Not only does this increase the team's endurance, it also allows you to dominate the enemy when paired with Hydro.
Okay.
This skill is also useful during exploration.
So this is... Oh my god, wasn't it Elsa?
Surfaces.
Yo, that's
Sound
cool.
Strategy for conserving stamina.
That's really cool.
After unlocking the talent Life-Prolonging Methods, when a character under the influence of Adeptus Art Herald of Frost triggers an elemental reaction, incoming healing is increased.
Okay.
Sacred name. Fortune
Whoa.
When Qiqi releases the Adeptal power sealed inside,
That dude coming out with a hammer?
nearby
Didn't stand a
enemies with
chance.
Fortune-Preserving Talisman and deals cryo damage to them. When enemies marked with Fortune-Preserving Talismans take damage, the character dealing the damage is healed. But
Ah, so it's another way to heal whoever is out on the field.
Preserver of Fortune,
This one is actually more like Leech Seed, actually.
dishing out damage. After unlocking the talent, a glimpse
She seems
into
pretty good as a healer.
Normal and charged attack hits have a chance to tag enemies with a fortune-preserving talisman.
So is it possible to double up like the random attack where you're just walking and that one?
Qiqi
So you
has
can
the
heal, like,
ability
twice as
to
much.
constantly heal, an excellent safeguard that helps keep your team alive. The more difficult the battle, the more apparent Qiqi's assistance becomes. When entering battle, first use Herald of Frost
Okay.
to allow your team to deal constant cryo damage, and easily trigger elemental reactions for greater damage. The effects of Herald of Frost will keep your team fighting
That makes
fit
sense.
until the right moment comes to unleash an elemental burst.
What was that music signal
allowing
around
your
him?
team to
Like, it looked like he had a
safely
music
unleash
thing
all
around
the
him.
firepower they've got.
Oh, and you know he's just putting out the
As a
damage too.
zombie, Qiqi has escaped the grip of both time and death.
So,
How Qiqi
when did she
entered
die?
this state of
I mean, I guess I'll find out in the
existence,
story. Please don't
I
tell me.
know. But I doubt it was of her own volition. Are the heavenly principles toying with her? Or is fate seeking to torture her? Is an ordinary life of simple pleasures really a thing so fragile?
Oh, poor Qiqi. I can't wait to find out more of her story. It feels like it always ends off, apart from with Jeans, like in some like depressing, sad way where it's like, yes, find out more about this character and their sad, tragic backstory. Okay, so that music thing was Barbara's healing. Okay, that makes sense. All right, time to react to Mona. I'm going to stop myself from seeing Mona the vampire just for you guys.
The stars illuminate all mortal.
I need to know why she looks like Lisa.
So few have eyes to perceive their
Like her outfit.
But Mona, an astrologist newly arrived in Mondstadt, is able to read the fates of others through stars.
That's right.
reflected in
So what's the name of the water
While no
users?
phenomenon is hidden
Like my brain's
from
saying
the
hydro, but that feels too obvious.
She struggles often with the minutiae of daily life. It is a most common predicament.
It is hydro.
The
Cool.
more you seek truth, the more simple joys elude you.
This was
If I waited 5 seconds, I would have seen it.
Long had I foreseen it.
I love the splash
Mona
arts for the
skill
characters
that
too. They're so
matches her
pretty.
reputation. As a hydro-aligned catalyst user, she masters the battle.
How can she go under the like? Does she
controlling the
become water?
situation and creating openings for her teammates to attack. As a student,
That's
of all
very
things
interesting.
in and under the night sky, Mona also has a strong grasp of weapon construction.
What even is that weapon?
In truth,
What's that called?
she finds that most weapons are wastefully made. When she crafts weapons,
She's another forger?
materials, she has a chance to recover a portion of the materials used.
Okay, that's cool.
Mona's
From what I'm hearing,
attack
like
performs
forging
a
doesn't
full
seem to be
strike for
super
deep
important,
hydro damage. Holding the attack button consumes a set amount
according
of
to people in
stamina
chat, but we'll see.
and deals area of effect hydro damage after a short casting time.
That's cool.
Mona
Still getting
creates
hit.
a Phantom of Fate from Coalesce.
Like Fire Spin from Pokemon.
This phantom taunts nearby enemies and deals continuous hydro damage to them. The phantom explodes when its duration expires, dealing area
The
of effect
Phantom?
hydro damage to enemies. Holding the
I guess it's similar in a way to, well, not really, but I was going to compare it to Shenhu's avatar.
and summon her phantom. This skill has many applications. The phantom can be used
But it's
to
very
taunt
different.
enemies, making them wet and priming them for attacks from
From,
Mona's allies.
oh, I see.
It
'cause
can also help
Lisa's
her
an
out
Electro
with
user, right? So I guess Electro would be super effective against like Hydro.
When Mona
You can tell I play
sprints,
too much
she cloaks
Pokemon.
herself in flowing water, consuming stamina to move rapidly.
How does she do that
Aiming
though?
this skill causes Mona
Like
to
lore-wise in the
emerge
game, I'm
from
curious how
nearby
that magic
forest
works.
lines. Illusory Torrent also allows Mona to travel swiftly over water. Once her first passive talent is unlocked,
That's cool.
Mona can create a phantom automatically. If she
Does that get rid of
maintains
field
skill for a
damage?
certain period of time with an enemy nearby.
I feel like skating along on that should get rid of field damage.
Mona summons sparkling waves and creates a reflection of the starry sky, applying
Oh,
the
Forge
weapon
is
and
important.
bubble statuses onto all
Okay.
enemies in the area. When affected by illusory bubble, weaker enemies will be imprisoned and unable to move. Attacking
That's dope.
imprisoned enemies removes that status from them and deals an instance of hydro damage.
Okay.
When the status is cleared, the enemy comes under an omen. Enemies
She does look
affected by
really
the
fun
omen
to
take
use,
more
though.
damage. On the ever-changing battlefield, Mona's capacity for control cannot be overlooked.
Why is this making me feel like something's got low battery, the music in the background?
Controlling the field and maximizing her teammates' damage.
Gave me anxiety for no reason.
As the battle begins, she first summons a phantom,
Okay.
taunts enemies, and lets her switch out. Using the opening...
Right, so it's like a safe way to switch in a new teammate.
...and deal massive damage to enemies. She uses these combined techniques to control enemies, allowing the party to damage them safely.
That's really cool, though. It seems like you can, like, really get around on the field with her.
Elemental burst to
like, quickly.
Enemies and attacks them to trigger damage bonus effects. This way, she can defeat the weakened enemies before her, all in good time.
Man, I feel like this is going to take me a little bit to learn. You guys probably like, yeah, this is easy. Basic stuff, Kieran, but
can deny her intelligence and
for someone who hasn't really played Genshin like that,
there are few who possess the ability and a
this
desire
definitely
to
feels like a lot to take in.
equal to hers. But beware, O young seeker. You must sacrifice your all to unravel the world's secrets.
The world's secrets? Is she trying to find out about
Mona truly bears
history through the stars?
Everyone in Liyue knows it is Rex Lapis who protects their borders.
All right. Wait, who's Rex
Daily
Lapis?
affairs are run by the Qiqing.
Is Keqing in the Qiqing?
Keqing acts decisively and pragmatically, knowing every inch of Liyue like the back of her hand.
So is she like a
Yet as
strategist or?
representative of the mortals of Liyue, she has much to say about Rex Lapis's unilateral governance.
Oh, I thought she was going to catch that sword.
We live in an era of change.
And she's another Electro
Order
user.
that has
Cool.
existed for 1,000 years is about to be rewritten.
Within the Qiqing,
Aw, look at that
Keqing
pose.
is one for action. Ruthless efficiency is her modus operandi. Like her personality, her sword work is both swift and uncompromising.
So is it like the Qiqing versus the Fatui early on in the game is what I'm gathering? I could be wrong.
Abrupt end to any enemy.
Wow.
Keqing could not be more familiar
The
with
speed on it.
Even on long journeys, she always finds a swift route back home.
Like so many of the characters in this game
If
feel quite
dispatched
speedy
on an
just from watching.
expedition in Liyue, she will complete
She looks
more
extra
quickly
quick.
than most.
Oh, I see. This is her passive. So she completes outside
Keqing can
missions
unleash a
quicker.
combo of
So
up to
they have
5
like
normal
outside
attacks.
missions similar to
Her
Xenoblade
final
Chronicles
strike
2.
allowing her to pass through enemies. Yunlai swordsmanship is both offensive and defensive, offering a way to dodge some attacks and strike back from a better angle.
What is this plant, dude?
Hold the attack button to consume stamina, and release a 2-slash flurry, dealing high physical damage.
No, she ran up. She treated it like a volleyball too. I like the way it
Elemental
bounced.
skill Stellar Restoration to throw a lightning stiletto, which deals electro damage to enemies in a
Lightning
small area
stiletto. So it's like a kunai?
and leaves behind a lightning stiletto marker. If Keqing uses Stellar Restoration
Can that miss?
again while the marker is still present, she flies to the marker and performs a quick
She's Naruto's dad. She's Minato. She's Minato from Naruto.
Allows Keqing to aim the lightning stiletto before releasing.
Keqing is the fourth Hokage.
Use of the lightning stiletto produces various results.
That's cool.
With the lightning stiletto, Keqing can flash into battle and attack from the best.
She is the
position.
purple flash
The lightning
of
stiletto
Liyue.
also be used in exploration to navigate challenging terrain. Keqing can also clear the lightning.
Yo, that's really cool.
Attack, causing a slashing thunderstorm that deals electro AoE damage at its location. Deft use of this skill allows Keqing to creatively deal ranged damage.
That's pretty dope. Yo, she seems so fun. I really want to use her now.
Thundering Penance, using Stellar Restoration while the Lightning Stiletto is present, converts Keqing's normal and charged attacks to electro damage.
Like, look how quick she's moving.
Cut to the chase.
I like how she's all about speed.
Unleashes her electro
Oh, and the Lightning
causing
McQueen.
electro AoE damage. Hiding behind the shadow of her sword, she relentlessly slashes surrounding enemies.
Wait, that was a Zenitsu attack.
Dealing multiple rounds of damage.
She was awake though. She wasn't asleep, so.
And a final burst of electro AoE damage at the end. After unlocking the talent Aristocratic Dignity,
That's such a nice.
Starward Sword.
Dude, it's so fun to
increases
watch.
crit rate and energy recharge
She's
for
so entertaining to watch run around.
light on her feet and leaving no shadow. Keqing is a sharp addition to any team.
Yeah, I need her.
Enemies or single opponents are no match for a well-executed combination.
I already think she's my Electro. Sorry, Lisa.
Them all down with ease. The key to combat with Keqing is mastery of the lightning stiletto. First, use her elemental skill.
Man, that's so cool.
Then, use her elemental skill again to zip into battle and strike quickly.
Okay.
Follow up with more electro damage, using her elemental skill to suppress the enemy.
I wonder how well she works in tandem with other characters, though.
At opportune moments.
Like, she seems like a character you just switch in and out, but doesn't necessarily have that many combos with other people.
Keep up the offensive to rapidly accumulate energy. Once full, it is time to unleash
Starwood Sword is the name of that tag. That's so dope.
Perfect end.
Epic anime ending finisher.
Is to be written by the people. Even without the protection of the gods, Liyue would flourish as always. This is Keqing's belief. This desire to take fate into her own hands. I remember this feeling.
She has the fastest charged
Will she
attack
be
in the
able to bring
game.
her vision
Dope.
to life, to protect this land she calls home. In the hands of the Qiqing, where is Liyue headed?
Man, I really want her on my team. She looks so unbelievably fun.
And see.
But I know that Raiden Shogun is another Electro, so in my head, I'm like, I should wait before I decide to see whether or not I prefer the look of Keqing or Raiden. I don't know. This is tough. How do you guys choose between like one team of characters? You must have at least like 5 waiting. Wait, what do you mean? I can't go for Keqing. Keqing will come for me? I mean, as long as I get her in some way or form, that's fine by me. Probably gonna regret that later. Alright, it's Childe time, who is the leader of the Fatui, I believe. Which I've been told is like, it means full? Or something?
To make waves wherever they go in Tevat. And Tartaglia is a driving force within them. Of the 11
Tartaglia.
harbingers, 10 concern themselves with clandestine operations. Tartaglia is the sole exception.
Wait, is Tartaglia just a group in the Fatui?
He prefers to face them head on.
Or is Tartaglia
one combat.
Childe's name? I'm confused.
The wind is picking up. There's conflict in the air.
His name isn't Childe?
His reputation precedes him.
Or his name is Childe, but Tartaglia is his
As a fierce
title.
warrior,
Okay, that makes sense.
well-versed in a variety of fighting forms. He can switch stances at will, and has
Okay.
2 distinct modes of attack at his disposal.
So we can switch between 2 different attack types. That's
As in your
cool.
Party, all characters' normal attacks gain 1 level, dealing increased damage as a result.
That's
Tartaglia
kind of
is
interesting.
weakest with a bow, so he chooses to use one precisely to overcome the
I like him already. I respect that. He said, oh, I'm trash with a bow. That's my main now. Until I'm good at it. What the hell? That thing became a Beyblade all of a sudden.
While aiming,
What the hell?
accumulates on the arrowhead.
You know what? These remind me of
Hydro damage to enemies
the enemies in Breath of the Wild
and
that
also
traumatized me.
Riptide status to them. When an enemy is affected by Riptide,
The Guardians.
hits from Tartaglia's fully charged arrows deal multiple bouts of area of effect hydro damage.
Okay.
Also, when Tartaglia defeats an enemy affected by Riptide, it causes a hydro burst, which applies the Riptide status to nearby enemies.
That's kind of cool.
Unlocking
I want to see him
the
with his
talent
other weapon though, if
extends
this is the
duration
weakest.
of Riptide. Faced with a strong foe, Tartaglia will reveal his true might.
There we go. What is
He
it?
casts his elemental skill. He
Ooh,
summons
twin
from
blades?
pure hydro, dealing hydro damage to surrounding enemies in the process, and also switches to his.
Out here like Tengen.
In this
in
stance,
Demon Slayer.
His normal attack now combos up to
With the
6
twin blades, I like
consecutive
it.
Hydro slashes.
So since they're Hydro Blades, do they just do Hydro damage?
Stamina, and releases
Automatically.
A 2-slash flurry, dealing hydro damage.
Okay, yeah.
In melee stance, when
Melee!
Tartaglia strikes an enemy affected by Riptide, he deals area of effect hydro damage.
Oh, that's cool. So he has combos with
Melee
himself.
stance when his
I mean, every character has
element
combos with himself, but like between the 2 different
certain time
weapons.
has elapsed. He then returns to his ranged stance, and his elemental skill enters cooldown.
Okay.
The longer Tartaglia spends in melee stance, the longer the cooldown time.
Right.
After unlocking the talent Sword of Torrents, when in melee stance, if Tartaglia deals a critical
That thing.
hit, the Riptide status is applied to the enemy.
Oh, I see. So it has a random luck element? That's cool.
Depending on Tartaglia's stance, his elemental burst will unleash one of 2 different attacks.
Riptide!
In ranged stance,
Wait, what? Did he just create?
swiftly fires a hydro
Oh, okay, no.
magic arrow ahead of him, which deals area of effect hydro damage,
I mean, that's fair.
and also applies the Riptide status to enemies.
So it's a setup for later, basically.
Tartaglia regains some of his spent energy.
Shouldn't let your guard down.
Wait, regain spent energy? As in, like, the cooldown or stamina?
Slashing attack with a wide area of effect, dealing substantial hydro damage to all surrounding
This one's more my speed.
And if the elemental
But I guess it's
burst is an
situational.
enemy affected by Riptide,
Maybe it depends on... I guess he works
hydro explosion.
differently based on who you've got in your party at the time.
Hydro damage. Tartaglia is a formidable warrior who lives for the heat of battle. He chooses his moments to attack and retreat. And his tactical...
Damn, he must have the Sharingan. He dodged that, the arrow.
This is what makes him so powerful. Faced with a single opponent, start by firing at them from a distance
Makes
to apply
sense.
the Riptide status. Then, enter melee stance and go in for the kill. Use fast and frequent attacks to trigger Riptide effects and deal immense damage.
Man, how do you guys remember all of this?
Enemies.
Says the guy that remembers every single Pokemon's
And
name.
unleash an elemental burst in ranged stance to apply the Riptide status to the group. Then
That makes
enter
sense. And then you can go melee and just, like, deal with them all.
affected by
Yeah.
Riptide,
That's cool, though.
taking away at their health, while also restoring Tartaglia's energy. Wait for an opportune moment.
Right, so the melee stance is usually the standard that people use. That makes
Out
sense.
in one go, bringing the battle to a clear-cut conclusion.
He got style,
Few know where
too.
Tartaglia acquired his fighting skills before becoming a harbinger.
Hold on.
Nor do many know where his lust for combat
He has the same
originates.
mask as
There is a dangerous
Kujo
secret
Sada.
to the martial
So I wonder if
legacy
they're
of
related in
Radiance,
some aspect.
but it is one that
Not
even
necessarily
he
by
himself
blood.
does not fully understand. Since becoming a Fatui harbinger, fighting for the Tsaritsa is his
Or maybe it is a
new
different
mission as
mask.
a
I'll have to see her again. This looks very similar.
Childe is the Tsaritsa's weapon of war, and he stands for the might of Snezhnaya. An icy storm is starting to blow towards the other nations. Brace yourselves. Tevat is about to get cold.
Do you know what? I'm mad because I was literally about to say winter is coming. I was about to spit the Game of Thrones reference, but the actual trailer did it. That's so funny. All right, it's time for Zhongli. Geo Daddy number one.
Liu is sacred traditions. The divinity is in the details. Even the
That's
most
pretty cool. I like
fastidious
that.
of academics don't claim to know them all. And yet, the mysterious funeral consultant, Zhongli, seems to know them like
He's a
the back of
funeral
his hand.
consultant. Actually, I do remember
The
somebody
ancient
mentioning he
rite
works for Hu
is
Tao,
the most
right?
unique tradition. Many details
funny.
have been lost over time. But Zhongli is still able to perform the rite to perfection. Though he looks young, Zhongli knows each ancient tradition inside out.
There's his vision.
But his own past is shrouded in mystery.
Every
All right, so he is. I mean, he's Geo. They call him the Geo Daddy, so it makes sense.
Zhongli excels at manipulating Geo, able to create and absorb Geo matter, and provide sturdy shields for his allies. This,
So he
paired
wait,
with his exceptional
shields for his
ability,
allies.
makes him a
So can his
reliable
shield
member
pass
of
over
the
to
party.
anyone else in the party?
Zhongli seems to know everything about everything, even a simple chunk of white iron ore.
So I'm guessing
He's
his
able to
passive
pick out
is he
the
can
best
find ore
and use it
easily,
to maximum
like on the map.
effectiveness. When forging polearms,
Oh no, it's for forging.
Zhongli recovers a set percentage of the ores used. Zhongli's
Okay, so
normal
it's similar to
attack can
Keqing.
combo up to 6 strikes, dealing physical damage to enemies. Hold the attack button to
I think it was
consume a
Keqing that
set amount
allowed
of
you to get some
stamina
items
and
back. I
lunge
could be
forward,
wrong.
casting down stone spears across Zhongli's
That's
path,
cool as hell.
dealing significant physical damage to enemies.
You know who he gives me vibes of here, seeing
Zhongli's
this?
elemental skill to summon
Gilgamesh
Geo energy
from Fate.
within the ground, and form a stone steel, dealing area of effect Geo damage to enemies. While the stone steel remains, it will periodically
Look like a random. I thought he just summoned a random door. That's Ning Wang, right?
continuous Geo damage to surrounding enemies.
What?
You can take
So is it just like
advantage of this in
earthquakes?
battle.
Is that why it's dealing
Draw
damage?
Enemies affected by other elements towards the stone steel, to both deal Geo damage and cause crystallize reactions. Use
see.
the elemental shield created by crystallize to help your party survive. Stone steels can also be used.
Wow, there's definitely a lot more to think about in this game than I expected. I think because a lot of people compare it to Breath of the Wild, all the elemental combinations and like the different attack patterns you can choose just kind of thrown me.
Dealing area of effect geo damage. The Jade Shield absorbs damage. The amount absorbed scales with Zhongli's max HP and is higher against enemies' geo attacks.
That makes sense.
If Zhongli is surrounded by targets affected by Geo, it will drain a large amount of Geo energy from up to 2 of them. This effect is not
That's kind of cool.
but can effectively break
It's
down
almost like the
enemy
is it
Geo
the Life Drain Yu-Gi-Oh card?
and nearby ore deposits.
Like the trap card?
After unlocking the talent Resonant Waves, when the Jade Shield takes damage, it will fortify your character, allowing their shield to absorb more damage.
Is this the shield that I said looks absolutely broken, or is this a different shield? Ah, his Madara Uchiha attack.
Klee can bring a huge meteor crashing
Ridiculous.
down, dealing massive geo damage and applying petrification to enemies caught near the impact site.
I can't believe it just freezes them and petrifies them. That's so cool.
After unlocking the talent Dominance of Earth, Planet Befall deals additional damage to enemies.
Do they ever break? Okay, they do break out of it.
With Zhongli's max HP. Zhongli maintains his composure, even as he meets out punishment in battle. His exceptional ability to
He is
provide
very
support
cool.
and deal damage makes him quite prepared for any.
If I saw him in a K-pop band, he wouldn't be out of place.
As the fight begins, first use Zhongli's elemental
Ooh.
skill to summon a stone steel and draw enemies near it, creating the ideal environment for dealing damage. Next,
His ult and co-op scares your friend. I can imagine. Could you imagine just a random meteor coming towards you? Whether you're on the same team or not. It's like, Jesus.
stringing together attacks to deal enormous damage.
Yeah, he looks really fun to use. Damn, I'm going to have to pull for this guy now. He comes back soon, right? Along with Ganyu.
Wipe out the enemy. While Liyue Harbor grows restless on the eve of disaster, as the host of the Rite of Parting, Zhongli still calmly goes about his work. The world around him may be descending into chaos, yet he remains
Cranes
unperturbed,
everywhere in
sipping his
Liyue.
tea and watching a good show.
Watching a good show.
As Liyue faces the turbulence of change, does he believe it is none of his business? Or is he also a player in this game, acting behind the scenes? It may be some time before the answers finally emerge.
So we don't know whose side he's really on. I thought Tomo was supposed to be like his wallet, though. That's kind of fascinating. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see more of him in the game, but like lore and story-wise. But he looks fun to play. I realize I said Toma. I meant to say child. This mix-up is going to be worse than the Pike and Singed drama in my League of Legends video, goddammit. Alright, it's time to learn more about Albedo. I want to see his moves, his alchemy. All metal alchemist.
Mondstadt is as free as the wind. Even an outsider like Albedo can become
He's
chief
an
alchemist
outsider?
of the Knights of Favonius.
Where is he actually
But on
from?
the other hand, his mastery of alchemy means that no one ever would have taken much persuading.
That's true. He's kind of scary.
Mondstadt was never a nation known for its alchemy, but since Albedo's arrival, the Knights' achievements in the field
I love
sit
seeing
only
Lisa in
behind
these.
those of Sumeru's
Is it
top
Sucrose?
students.
Is that her name?
Knights and academics. Not two words that one would expect to hear in the same sentence.
Alright, he is... Oh, he's Geo? Why didn't I know he was a Geo user?
Instead of leading the charge in combat, the calm and collected Albedo is better suited to providing support with reliable geo damage.
Okay.
Still, his skill set
So he's
allows
a
him to take
supporter.
powerful attacks, meaning he more than holds his own on the battlefield.
He moves like Jean, actually. Like his attacks.
Creation is the basis of alchemy. Albedo's knowledge allows him to find ways to improve crafting
Hagene no
recipes and
Renkenjutsu.
make better use of materials. When crafting weapon
He's literally an alchemist? That's
he
so
has
funny.
a chance of doubling the crafting output.
I mean, that makes sense, right? As his passive, that makes a lot of
Albedo's
sense.
normal attack can combo up to 5 strikes with his sword. Holding the attack button consumes a
Ooh.
certain amount of stamina and performs 2 swift forward slashes.
Yo, he sent him flying, too.
Tap his elemental skill to create a solar isotoma using alchemy, dealing area of effect geo damage. A field is
So he
created
hits the
around
ground and it just does AoE.
Periodically, when an enemy within the field takes damage, a transient blossom is generated at the enemy's location.
Okay, what happens when the blossom's there?
Albedo's defense, dealing AoE geo damage to surrounding enemies. A transient blossom can only be generated once every 2 seconds. Additionally,
So it's a lot of build-up damage, allowing for his teammates to come in and do more attacks. There's his Beyblade.
Only one platform can exist at a time.
Okay,
Strategic use of
that makes sense.
crystallized platform.
So you can use attacks from... Yeah, there we go. That's really cool. I was about to say, because I said Klee was really good higher up.
When adventuring, hold Albedo's elemental skill to choose the solar isotoma's position, and use the crystal
You can also use it to explore as well. That's clever.
obstacles more quickly.
Elevator boy.
Unlocking the talent Calcite Might, transient blossoms
That's
deal
funny.
extra damage against enemies with low health.
This man out here like Obi-Wan. He has the higher ground, Anakin.
Crystallized geo energy bursts forth at Albedo's command, dealing AoE geo damage in front of Albedo.
Okay.
If Albedo's solar isotoma is still present on the battlefield, 7 fatal blossoms are generated in the solar
7?
isotoma field, which bloom aggressively, dealing AoE geo damage. After unlocking the talent Homuncular Nature, Albedo's elemental
The homunculus.
nearby party members'
I
elemental
can't stop.
mastery for a period of
I'm
time.
trying so hard to stop myself from making Full Metal Alchemist memes, okay?
Albedo's skill set is a
Is that my
rare
first time
and
seeing that
valuable
enemy?
asset in combat.
That was interesting.
Creative use of the solar isotoma greatly diversifies the battle, paving the party's way to certain victory.
I thought that fool was floating for
When
a
the
sec.
battle begins, create a solar isotoma with Albedo's elemental skill.
Right.
As he and fellow party members attack enemies.
Is
inside
Sucrose
the
a
solar
4-star
isotoma
then?
field.
Since I've not really
Transient
seen her in any
blossoms
trailers.
deal damage to enemies, while generating crystal
Like her own
exchanges
trailers.
through elemental reactions. Solar isotoma also enables party members to unleash plunging.
Oh, I didn't even think about using the
Have Albedo unleash an elemental
flying mechanic along with
to help
that as
party a
well.
Performance boost with increased elemental mastery.
That's actually clever. He's just standing there menacingly after he beat them.
No
All right.
one can dispute Albedo's talent, but the source of the knowledge he possesses.
Like, how did he become such a
brought
good
about
alchemist?
The destruction of a glorious nation.
What?
All that most people know of him is his title, Kryda Prince.
Is that
And
like
he gained his position
something-
in the
wait,
Knights
what? What does
on
that mean?
recommendation from Alice, the
Something Prince?
adventurer. Beyond this, the young man is a stranger to them, a complete mystery. And the essence of his knowledge is
Oh, it means
equally
Chalk
unknown.
Prince. Interesting. Yeah, I was going to say, because it seems as though there was some distrust from some of the version trailers.
The art of Chemia. Soil and chalk, the universe and earth, pure dust and the birth of human life.
Wow.
There is no mistaking it.
Is that like the World Tree, but in Genshin
I am
Impact?
content to watch most crises play out from the sidelines. But if Albedo were ever to make a single wrong move, I could
Damn.
not let myself ignore it.
So Albedo either holds so much knowledge or power that he's that dangerous. All right, so Ganyu is actually coming back alongside Zhongli, and I really want Ganyu, so
Given Liyue's
let's see how to
present
play her.
prosperity, it's only natural that the city's operational support should match its scale. For millennia, from the birth of the Liyue Qixing to its current roster of 7, they've all relied on the Yuehai Pavilion's secretary, the half-Qilin illuminated beast.
I love damn, I forgot her name. Ningguang. I forgot how to pronounce it for a sec.
Deities, and have no liking for the Adepti who sign contracts with the Geo Archon. A person
The
like
Adepti?
Ganyu is still deserving of my respect.
My job is to honor my contract with Rex.
Her weapon is so
by looking
interesting.
out for the
And she's
interests of
cryo.
all living things in Liyue.
It is said that when a Qilin is brought to fight, the
They pronounce it Chilin?
Ganyu is a force to be reckoned.
I know it as Kieran from
Archer with
Japanese myth.
exceptional aptitude for aimed shots. Her mastery over cryo lends itself well to high damage burst attacks,
Right.
while her skills are of great help to her and her allies during combat.
Wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There was a lot going on there.
Through centuries of training, Ganyu's archery has reached the acme of perfection. She excels.
So
at
she's
not only
primarily a
making bows,
bow
but also
user.
making them. Though she no longer
Oh man, I'm not very good with bow users in any games.
bow and arrow like
Maybe Ganyu won't be for me.
While forging bow-type weapons, Ganyu recovers a set percentage of the ores used.
Oh, that's cool. So you get resources back.
Her normal attack can combo up to 6 consecutive shots, dealing physical damage to enemies. Charging the attack executes a more precise shot that deals increased damage.
That's cool.
Based on its charge time.
So I learned from a bunch of archers in the comments of my previous video that apparently you do not close your eye to be more accurate. So I don't know what's going on here.
Charge level 2 fires off a frost flake arrow that deals cryo
That's cool.
damage and blooms after hitting its target, dealing AoE cryo damage.
All right, so that's what it means by... Oh, wow. It just froze the whole area. Can you freeze water with that as well? To walk over? Seemed kind of temporary. And you think enemies would fall out of the sky after you freeze them while flying?
Within a set period of time after shooting a frost flake arrow, the next frost flake arrow and its bloom will receive a crit rate bonus.
Wait, so it's like a definite crit?
Mental skill to dash backward, leaving an ice lotus in her place that deals cryo damage.
Okay.
Continuously taunts surrounding enemies, attracting them to attack it.
Oh, wow, so that allows you to shoot better. Like, you can aim and not be hit.
Once its duration ends, it blooms profusely, dealing AoE cryo damage.
Okay, is this... I can see why you guys said she's so good.
Ice Lotus's endurance
She has a lot to
is
work
based
with.
on Ganyu's max HP. Dexterous use of Ice Lotus can effectively redirect enemy fire.
Yeah, that's... So, yeah, so, exactly.
Ganyu to dish out damage.
You distract them and then you just shoot at them. That's so cool.
Ganyu coalesces atmospheric frost to summon a sacred cryo pearl while it's active.
Oh, that's what it is, a cryo pearl.
Continuously rain down shards of ice.
That's ridiculous.
area, dealing cryo damage. Celestial Shower deals damage while serving as a reliable source of cryo that allows Ganyu's allies to trigger corresponding elemental reactions.
Right, I
and
see.
further increase their damage output.
So I guess when an enemy has
Harmony between heaven and earth.
is affected by cryo, when you use pyro, it does extra damage.
Within Celestial Shower's AoE, gain a cryo damage bonus. As an archer, Ganyu knows to keep her enemies at a safe distance and avoid close quarters combat. A constant barrage of
As somebody who loves close quarters characters, this makes me a little sad. I'm gonna have to learn to use her.
Ganyu can use her elemental skill to get out of harm's way and taunt her
Wow.
opponents, allowing her to then fire frostflake arrows unbothered, dealing damage to groups of enemies.
That must be so annoying as the enemy. I know they're just AI, but still.
Energy is full. Ganyu can unleash her elemental burst to further increase her ability to deal damage. When facing more formidable foes together with her allies, Ganyu's ability to taunt and infuse enemies with cryo is an effective form of support for the whole party.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Defeating enemies in one fell swoop.
She's so funny. I keep getting her name backwards, so I'm not even gonna say it.
Has changed over
Is it Jin Yan?
Centuries have passed in the blink of an eye. Ganyu's accompanied Liyue through many a storm.
Oh, look at
But
Qiqi.
Liyue Harbor itself. Can this city really become a safe harbor for an adeptus in the world of mortals?
It is Jin Yan.
When
Thank
the
God. I
true
thought I got it backwards again.
Lorax was alive, an adeptus like Ganyu could find a sense of belonging in the human city. But at present, when the rite of parting has already marked his end, the loneliness of an inhuman living in the
Oh, that's sad. There's a lot of loneliness going on in Genshin. Oh, I hope her and Shenhu can become friends. Or Shenhe. I'm trying to remember the correct pronunciation. No, I need Shenhe and I need Ganyu to become best friends right now. All right, so we're now on Xiao, who is apparently coming back soon. So maybe I'll try and get him too. We'll see.
But though their
The
life
Archon
faded,
War.
their
It was a
power
war between the
now
gods.
survived as remnants, posing a continued threat to the world. In Liyue, the task of ending this threat, or rather,
He's another speedy one like Jean.
falls to Xiao.
Oh, that's so cool. He can just jump
most
up
in Liyue,
and attack down anyway.
Xiao is a name seldom heard.
It seems like that's
The
not a
few
common
who've
attack
seen
they
him
have,
contest.
since a lot of them
He appears only when grave
were
danger
being
is
suggested
nigh.
to use the platforms to jump down and
Coming
attack.
across this adeptus, should one count their blessings or their curses?
So what is an Adeptus exactly? I guess I'll figure out.
Hailed as the conqueror
playing the
of
game.
demons, Xiao's abilities
That's an
are
epic name.
unparalleled among the adepti. As such, He vanquishes demons without breaking a sweat. Xiao is
So,
agile.
are Adepti just people that have contracts with the Archons, as far as I understand? They could be wrong.
His abilities are enhanced even further as he purges evil and protects Lyra. After years of honing his abilities, Xiao has developed an Adeptus art that affords him strength at high altitudes.
Okay.
When Xiao is in the party, the active...
Oh, you can climb longer?
consumes less stamina
Nice. That's awesome.
Xiao's normal attack can combo up to 6 strikes, dealing physical damage to enemies.
Okay, that's cool.
Holding the attack button causes Xiao to consume stamina and perform an upward thrust, dealing physical damage and lifting enemies into the air.
That's pretty epic.
While airborne, press attack.
That's the
to
attack
perform
he
a
did
plunging
previously.
attack.
So can he not do that from the
Striking
ground or
enemies on the
jumping?
way down and dealing AoE damage.
Or was he able to push himself up with air
Xiao
and then
will
come
not
back down
lose HP
with a
from
different attack?
plunging no matter how high he starts.
That's fire.
Use
That's really cool.
Xiao's elemental skill to lunge forward, dealing anemo damage to enemies in his path.
I thought the enemies were going to fall down after that, the way that happened.
To dart effortlessly around the battlefield, dealing damage while tactically adjusting your position. Also, lemniscatic wind cycling can be used while airborne,
Okay.
making it easy for Xiao to navigate challenging terrain, aiding with exploration. Lemniscatic wind cycling starts with 2 charges available. After unlocking the talent...
Wait, so he gets health back?
If Xiao uses multiple charges in quick succession, damage dealt increases with each one.
Was he getting health back from that?
When Xiao unleashes an elemental burst, he dons the Yaksha's mask that once struck fear into gods and demons alike.
So,
His attacks now
okay, it wasn't. That was just damage then. It confused me because the text was green.
Fusion. And Xiao's attack AoE and damage are
So his
both
burst basically changes his form in a way.
Xiao's jumping ability is greatly enhanced, allowing him to
Oh,
ascend.
that's what allowed him to do that. He was wearing the mask at the time. That makes sense.
The Yaksha's mask brings enormous power, but also great suffering. During Xiao's elemental burst, he will continually lose HP. This effect
Ooh.
stops if he leaves the field.
It's the karma, isn't it?
Unlocking the talent Conqueror of Evil, Tamer of Demons. While
That looks so fun to do. Just continuously just like diving on him.
When Xiao goes into battle, danger follows in his wake. To avoid harming others, he acts quickly, completing the task at hand as efficiently as possible.
I mean, he has to if he's just losing his
As
health
the fight
by attacking.
begins, Xiao
Yeah, it
uses
seems
his
like you need a
ability
healer.
to move
Like, it feels as though he'd work really well with Qiqi. I think it was Qiqi, the character that had a lot of kind of like background healing.
Unleashes his elemental burst and harnesses the power of the Yaksha's mask to incapacitate the enemy with
That looks so
plunging
fun.
attacks and finish off every last one.
All right.
For millennia, tales of the Yakshas have been told in
Yo, look at his speed running around.
but over time, these defenders of the masses have all but disappeared. Only Xiao still honors his contract with the Geo Archon by performing the duties assigned to him. Though the cost of this duty
Wait, so the Adepti, do they
is perpetual
specifically
solitude.
have deals with the Geo Archon?
I know that Adepti suffer heartache just as I do, but I cannot know Xiao's future. Will Xiao be ravaged
Damn, that was cool.
by the unending war he wages and be plunged into despair? Or
Ooh, what's this? A
will he
spirit?
meet someone who understands his sacrifice and can shine a ray of light into his dark
I guess that's our job as the protagonist then, yeah? The dark Sasuke Uchiha energy. Yeah, he seems cool. Like, it's interesting to see an anime use an anime. Why do I keep saying anime? It's interesting to see an animo user who seemingly is like kind of like on the dark side of things. Like, he's all cool and dark. Because the other one so far felt kind of like light, if that makes sense. All right, it's time for us to react to Zhongli's boss, Hu Tao.
The people of Li
She looks fun because she has a little
value
ghost.
tradition, and their traditions are embodied in all manner of rites. Of these, the rites that mark life's end.
Look
are
at her,
of utmost importance.
just sitting out by some graves, enjoying her
Li Ying's
picnic.
Funeral rites are complex, and only Wangsheng Funeral Parlor can conduct them to the satisfaction of all. Wangsheng has stood for 77 generations and has gained still greater
77?
fame in recent years, thanks to their eccentric young director, Hu Tao.
So how old is Hu Tao actually?
Bathe in sunlight.
She gives the energy of someone older for some reason.
Bathe in moonlight.
Hu Tao manipulates pyro with ease and can sacrifice her HP to increase her damage output.
That's cool.
cleansing the world
It's
of
almost similar to Xiao in a way.
unrelenting flame. When Hu Tao cooks a dish perfectly, she has a chance to obtain a suspicious dish.
Suspicious
of the same
dish?
kind.
Is that good or bad? Suspicious sounds terrible. Oh, I can revive a character.
Can combo up to 6 strikes, dealing physical damage to enemies.
I wonder if they all have the same
Tao's charged
ability to revive a character, or whether it's like
stamina
random
to
every time.
lunge forward, dealing physical damage to enemies in her path. Hu Tao also has a unique effect when sprinting, allowing her to briefly disappear and pass through certain small foes.
Okay.
Hu Tao consumes part of her HP to cast her elemental skill, knocking nearby enemies back.
So it's not continuous, it's just like once it does it?
This converts her attack damage to pyro damage, which cannot be overridden by another elemental infusion.
Okay.
Her resistance to interruption is also increased, and she receives an attack increase based
Oh,
on
okay, so she can attack without being like damaged and having her attack stopped?
Paramita Papilio ends after a set duration, or when Hu Tao leaves the field. After unlocking the talent Flutterby, ending Paramita Papilio increases the crit rate of all of Hu Tao's party members other than herself.
So she gets hella strong, and then you switch over to someone else and they get really strong.
Paramita Papilio
That's
is
cool.
in effect. Hu Tao's charged attacks apply the Blood Blossom effect to enemies.
Blood
it hits.
Blossom.
Enemies affected by Blood Blossom will take pyro damage at set intervals.
I see. Okay.
This effect automatically expires after a while.
So it's not constantly burning, but it's like
Exist on any one
hit,
target at a time.
and then hit.
Only Hu Tao can
Wonder how that
refresh
changes
duration.
things up in terms of Hu Tao's combos.
Wangsheng has a long heritage. It's said that their directors passed down a secret technique to traverse between life and death.
Is this the
Unafraid
technique?
in the face of death, they instead unleash yet greater power. Once the talent Sanguine Rouge is unlocked,
Sanguine
Tao
Rouge.
gains a pyro damage bonus when her HP is low.
Oh, it's like the ability Blaze in Pokemon. That's cool.
Hu Tao commands a blaze.
But that would be risky to use alongside with the ability that takes HP to allow her to use more pyro.
A certain percentage of her max
Oh.
HP.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's dope.
5 enemies can affect this percentage.
Oh,
Additionally,
are they Dendo enemies?
Tao's
Like the
HP
little
is
plants?
low, deals greater damage and regenerates more HP. Hu Tao's
Oh, that man
unique
got
fighting style
bodied.
often imperils her.
Why are all the spear users really cool?
Coordinate with her teammates and choose the right moment to use her skills and manage her HP.
It's funny how much focus on
Tao often
HP
begins by using
the
her
funeral
elements
director
to
has.
enter the Paramita Papilio state. Then she alternates between normal and charged attacks to deal pyro damage, applying Blood Blossoms onto enemies.
Okay,
She
that
then
interval
leaves
damage
the
again.
field, using the crit rate increase from Flutterby.
Ah, so that gave Childe hella extra damage.
When Hu Tao's HP is low, she can choose a group of enemies upon which to unleash her
So
elemental
Cross looks kind of
burst,
fun though.
dealing pyro damage and regenerating her HP.
Do you know what it almost reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of Noctis in Final Fantasy 15 when you get to a certain point in the game.
And its staff are used to speaking little.
Where you have to manage between your HP draining
Hu Tao's
and your
libraries seem an
MP
ill fit.
draining. Something along those lines. Anyone who's played knows what I mean. It's been a while.
Her elders once criticized her mischief making, but having seen her immaculate conduct of the parlor's affairs, they could do naught but admit their error. Life.
Yeah,
and
she knows
death
what she's doing.
are but
She a
two
businesswoman.
halves of an endless cycle.
She hit him with a spooky dance. That's so
Leads
funny.
unto death, and death unto new life. why then should death be taboo? Hu Tao has had the wisdom to see this, though some of her elders have yet to do so.
She seems like a very fun character. Like, story and character-wise in terms of her personality, and to actually play. Like, you can see, like, this isn't just like a basic, like, hack and slash game. There's definitely, like, some thought going into, like, the combos and how each characters work with each other. And, yeah, building a team that's, like, balanced and that works well is going to be kind of interesting.